In our continuing coverage on a story that we brought to you first yesterday, the U.S. Department of Justice is launching a federal civil rights investigation into 2 South Carolina jails, one of them the Richland County Jail.
News 19's Walker Lawson has more on what's next and what the next steps will be.
Should one or both of the investigations identify any constitutional violations or violations of federal law, our office is equally committed to identifying remedial measures and monitoring search efforts as long as necessary.
The U.S. Department of Justice announced Thursday the investigation into the Richland County Jail. The agency says there were 6 known deaths since February of last year. There have also been 16 assaults, 2 escapes, and 2 alleged rapes. Madeline Wasilchek, assistant professor with the University of South Carolina of Law, says those issues led to the investigation.
This is a pretty rare occurrence. To this point, the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ and the U.S. Attorney's Office here in South Carolina have been only able to look at publicly available information. And that's why they're opening this investigation, because they have found those allegations serious enough and credible.
Now the months-long process begins.
They will arrange for a tour of the facility, and then they will request documents from the facility, from the county. They will dig into those in a pretty deep way. So sometimes those take a few months, sometimes they take more than a year.
After that, Derek Shoemake, criminal defense lawyer, says a findings report will be issued.
It will say they found no evidence of a pattern and practice violation. If that's the case, it goes away. The investigation is closed. If they do find a pattern and practice, then what they'll do in that report is very specifically outline these are the constitutional violations or statutory federal violations we found.
If they have a finding, they will move into step 3.
So they will actually seek to find a method that everyone agrees with to resolve these issues going forward. If they reach a negotiated agreement, it's entered in by a federal judge. If for some reason the institution doesn't want to reach a negotiated agreement, you would reach the 4th and final step, which is an actual lawsuit. So that's where the Department of Justice would file a civil lawsuit and ask the federal judge to do those things they had already asked for.
If issues are found, no one will face charges because Shoemake reminds this isn't a criminal matter. Walker Lawson, News 19, WLTX.
Well, the second state jail that is a part of this investigation is the Alcannon Detention Center. That's in Charleston County. There have been a number of violent incidents this year recently at the Richland County Jail.
Back in January, Antonius Randolph was attacked and then killed by a group of inmates after the Justice Department said the doors were left unlocked in the cells. And then since then, there have been more than a dozen stabbings at the jail. In May and June alone, the agency says that there were 9 people injured in different violent incidents. Now, we have complete coverage at WLTX.com of all the incidents at the Richland County Jail.